A remarkable event occurred at the beginning of Mesopotamian history, yet it remains unexplained to this day. It took place in Sumer, the land between two rivers. Those two rivers are the Tigris and Euphrates, near the Persian Gulf. The date was around 3800 BC. Around this time, the Sumerians appeared in ancient Mesopotamia. Their arrival was sudden and mysterious. They did not develop gradually over thousands of years. They emerged almost fully formed, skipping key phases of development. They had advanced knowledge from the outset. They had writing known as cuneiform. They had laws that we still use today. They had advanced farming. They had advanced mathematics. They had advanced astronomy. They had advanced engineering skills. They had highly organized systems of governance. Their achievements are endless. But where did this knowledge come from? It surpasses what should have been possible for a culture just out of the Stone Age. This sudden leap is miraculous yet rarely questioned by academia. The textbooks say we develop slowly over centuries. Small improvements eventually lead to major achievements. The Sumerians challenge this idea. This is why Zechariah Sitchin and others called them the sudden civilization. There is no evidence of build-up, no evidence of cultural transmission, no evidence of a previous advanced people in the region. There is no evidence of previous technology or knowledge in Mesopotamia. How did they advance so quickly without these preconditions? This is very hard to understand. Gradual development does not explain it. Humans could not have just decided to create complex civilizations either. Moreover, as many Assyriologists have pointed out, this is a very unlikely place for a civilization to spring up. It was a boggy, marshy land that endured temperatures in excess of 40 degrees. So why here of all places? From basic farming to cities with writing, laws and astronomy. From simple settlements to advanced urban centers with schools, temples and palaces, the archaeological record does not explain how this happened. Urban centers emerged quickly and all at once in Sumer. Uruk, Ur, Eridu, Lagash and Nippur appeared simultaneously. Why not gradually or one by one? Each city already had a complex layout. Each city had temples, markets and administrative buildings. Knowledge is usually shared over generations. Experimentation takes place over centuries. A society must be stable for decades before these leaps happen. But not here, in Sumeria. Scientific and social systems cannot just suddenly appear overnight. Later, people inherited many ideas from the Sumerians. These include the Akkadians, Babylonians, and Assyrians. But these people did not advance Sumerian breakthroughs, quite the opposite. Archaeological evidence suggests they were less advanced. They did not improve on Sumerian life. They merely copied. They simplified the excellence that came before. This is what you would do when you find something you did not understand. You attempt to copy it, often rather crudely. In terms of sophistication, history moved backwards, yet we are told progress always moves forward, from simpler to more advanced. Isn't that what we were taught? The Sumerians broke this rule. They were more advanced than those who came after. They started with immense knowledge, but this gradually diminished over millennia. How is this possible? There are many theories concerning the origins of the Sumerians. Of course, historians have opinions. None have been proved beyond doubt. Some suggest that they were an offshoot of a previous southern Mesopotamian culture. Others believe they came from the east, maybe Iran or further afield, like India, for example. An intriguing idea suggests they are the descendants of a lost civilization, a la Atlantis or Lemuria. There is no archaeological evidence to support these theories. Furthermore, no genetic, language, or cultural links have been found. Thus, the above are simply guesses, and the question remains unanswered. In history class, we soon learn that the Sumerians were the first civilization on this planet. We learn about all their major achievements. However, their origins are never discussed. Schools avoid it, colleges simplify it, universities skip it altogether, and textbooks simply downplay the subject. Why won't they just admit they don't know? The origins of the Sumerians are highly important. How can we say for sure how and why civilizations started if we don't know where they came from? This is a huge missing piece of the human puzzle. There must be an outside source for Sumerian knowledge, a more advanced and intelligent people that history has overlooked or forgotten. It is our job to track down this source wherever it may take us. Are clues hidden in plain sight, like in the Sumerian texts, for example? Maybe so. Sumerian myths say these advancements were given to humanity by the gods. Everything, including writing, agriculture, architecture, and astronomy, came from them. Is this the outside source we have been searching for? These texts certainly support the idea of external influence. Their cuneiform texts, especially the Enuma Elish, Eridu Genesis, and the instructions of Shurupak, do explain their origins. However, they are dismissed because they mention forbidden topics. These include how and why humans were created, why a great flood swept over the land, and why the gods left our planet. The Sumerians wrote about their origins many times. These texts were ignored by scholars because they paint a picture that does not sit well with academia. This picture involves what sounds like an intervention, an extraterrestrial intervention, i.e., gods coming down from the heavens and intervening in earthly affairs. These gods were known as the Anunnaki. If we take these writings seriously rather than dismissing them, then a very different history emerges from the Sumerian landscape. These texts tell us that gods such as Anu, Enki, Enlil, and Inanna were not mythical constructs. They actually lived amongst the Sumerian people, guiding and nurturing them. The Sumerian cuneiform texts state this in a clear and emphatic way. What we see in some tablets is that they appear to have been written as first-hand accounts, either narrated to the scribe or witnessed by the scribe. This makes them historical and factual evidence. Modern science has filtered these testimonies and lessened their importance in the process. However, recently, as people have lost faith in science, these ideas have resurfaced again. To really understand what happened in the past, we must dispose of our narrow mindsets and then challenge outdated beliefs. Labeling everything from our past as a myth is doing a disservice to those who took the time to record these stories. Ancient stories describe a golden age. This was a time when gods lived amongst humans. They supposedly gave the gift of civilization to primitive people. Later cultures struggled to maintain what the gods had given us. Does this sound familiar? It describes the Sumerian problem quite clearly. Many ancient people told stories of a time when gods, demigods, or heavenly visitors lived among them. They often recall these beings helping them. In modern times, these helpers are sometimes called culture bearers. These so-called myths could indeed be real events. The Egyptians called them the Neturu. These included well-known names like Osiris, Isis, Thoth, and Ra. Whilst many dismiss these tales, their reigns on Earth are recorded in numerous documents like the Turin Papyrus. These events took place long before the human dynasties appeared. The ancient Greeks describe a golden age quite vividly. During this time, gods such as Zeus, Athena, and Apollo lived amongst them, teaching them how to become civilized. Some of these gods actually interbred with humans, resulting in another class of beings that they referred to as demigods. In ancient India, there are tales of gods battling each other in the skies of that ancient land. They rode in chariots known as Vimana and used weapons that we are only just rediscovering. These entities were known as the Devas and Asuras. What makes this tale different is that it is documented in very high detail in epics such as the Mahabharata and Ramayana. These beings also often aided humanity. In Africa, the Dogon tribe of Mali recalls a very strange tale of beings known as the Nomo. They came to Earth thousands of years ago and imparted knowledge to the Dogon, which included highly detailed information on the Sirius star system. These teachings have been confirmed by modern astronomy. Many other African tribes also recall tales of beings coming from the skies and living among them. Cultures scattered all over the world tell similar stories, yet they supposedly had no contact with each other. These similarities are often downplayed because they cannot be explained. The shocking truth is, these tales are not myths. They recall real encounters with beings not of this planet. Furthermore, it is very likely that all these tales may be referring to the same race of extraterrestrials, the Anunnaki. They might be known by different names, but they sound identical in almost every instance. The Egyptian, Greek, Indian, and African myths become very valuable to us as we continue this quest to understand the truth about our past, but our main focus will be the Sumerian texts. By looking more closely at the Sumerians' own words, we will find the answers we seek.